you intrigued?
Well, I'm hoping we're not going to see the Hanzo Widowmaker on defense.
I'm hoping for it.
I mean, no Reinhardt, it could work, but I don't really expect it to. Like, the Widow is more, I think, of... yeah, troll pick, exactly. I was not going to go into how this potentially could be a real pick. Thank God, you did suicide.
Yeah, they're
right
totally going to believe that. Oh, they're going to go Widow. Okay.
So the Hanzo, I mean, is always technically a possibility on this map because it combos really well with Zarya, and it gives you a lot of high ground potential control in terms of the vision it gives you when they're going to come in. It also gives you vision on the low ground. It kind of makes it hard to contest the high ground. Though I don't really expect it to be played. Thank God, we're not going to see it. But the Winston, I think, is a big thing we should talk about next, because I played with Numbani before, and he was talking to me about how Winston on this point is actually really good because of the fact of the high ground and the low ground. It's hard to play Zarya on the high ground down to low ground or low down on the high ground because of the lack of energy you can really build up plus angles you have to shoot with. But Winston has the ability to turn low ground into high ground for himself by just jumping up, or other way around. That got really confusing.
For
So
single support?
Winston can do it.
Single support?
Yeah, they are running that single support on defense, as you mentioned. They're going to put in a Mei in here, too. They just let them walk right up. Interesting. They're going to give up all the low ground, see if they can get a collapse going on here. A very non-standard push coming in as they do trade back and forth. Both Ana's down, so that healing is completely nerfed for this single support team here. This defense is in a bad spot right now. They need to pick up multitudes of kills.
I don't even know if they can do it here. They got a Disu to Diva. They've lost super on Winston now, which is Bull basically by himself as Zarya on the point just to contest as long as he can. And there's even the Bull pump coming in and out of takes to pick himself up 2 kills. And I want to say this is Spicy just reading the comp really well and going for that really aggressive dive comp on the high ground.
I mean, that's clearly the downside of running a single support. It's always bad when your Ana dies first. Even when you have a second support, when she's solo supporting like that, that's game over right away. That's the one pick you need. And as good as Rob 420 was yesterday, and you get jumped on like that, there's not a whole lot you can do. That is about as fast as you can take Numbani first. Probably one of the bigger offensive impacts there was Casper there, who's already at 70% on his Dragon Blade. And do you think, well, they do right now rotate into a second support, and Super is back on the old Reinhardt. So maybe the lab of Numbani had them experimenting a little too much, a little more standard composition coming out of them now.
Yeah, but now they're going to be lacking a lot of ult percent here. But Super does get a charge. 1-1 up against Reinhardt. Decop, but Decop just turns around, picks the kill into him, and so far Super on the Winston now transition to the Reinhardt has not really been too effective at all. But there's something I want to talk about next. The Mei pick we had out of Jake on first point defense.
Yeah.
It was just really bad position, and the way that we saw Spicy attack took advantage of it. Or B, he was trying to do something smart where they knew the dive was coming, and he was going to wall them off, force them into this high ground position, and not give them any room to actually attack on the Rob. I don't know which route he was going for there, but I thought it could have been interesting.
I feel this map and the Mei pick feeds into that as well. It just does not play to their style of being aggressive. There's really no great way to be aggressive on Numbani first point defense, and now they've been on the back foot the entire game. The Nano Blade will come up. Casper's in the back line. He takes down a Bast very early on. He's looking for Ana as well, trying to find her. He's still on her, but that blade is now worn off. Back and forth. Hey, they go on the card, but that is going to be trained with a couple kills on the self-destruct. If they can finally stabilize, I feel that esports could be able to bring this back. It's just that their style does not bode well for the first point in Numbani here. Maybe the second point goes better for him.
So we're seeing something new out of Spicy that Hammer hasn't been really fought with yesterday. Against Liquid, Luminosity, and Spice, was there ever a single dive comp used against Hammer? Or it was just quad tank the entire time? It was just mirror comps every single match? Because this dive comp is putting so much extra pressure on Rob that Super's not necessarily getting the support, and the Biogrades aren't offensively like they need to pick up kills to be defensively to keep Rob alive.
Yeah, Giant Grab comes in. The sound barrier is going to keep everyone alive. A beautiful sound barrier there from Spo to keep his team extremely healthy. Gets a couple kills off of the back of that. Now it is a 6v3. This point is all but over as they continue to rack up the kills. And I could not agree with you more, Jason. It does harken back to the idea that they remind me so much of NIP. And you can't beat NIP at their own game. You can't run 4 tanks into a team that's just really good at 4 tanks. You're going to lose that every single time. You have to switch something up, get a little more aggressive in how your playstyle is. They are running this 4 tanks now, and it is working out against them. But now it's that Hammers is running a little different composition too. It just seems like they've not quite settled in yet.
Yeah, I think that we got comfortable at all. Just grab for a second, kind of be able to do decent damage here. Not to mention just going in. Double shot from the backside. We're taking 2 kills somehow. Bull and Rob both go down. The shit was up out of Super, and I think just them falling one by one. Use the charge to lock down the map. Hammer, they're pretty much being the nail right now. They need to turn this around. They're getting walked over completely, hammered home here as we see the final approach coming in for Spicy.
All of yesterday, Hammers dictated the pace, dictated the entire style of the game to the other team, and it's being brought to them right now. And it looks like they are very uncomfortable. Losing 2 people when you have a Reinhardt shield up like that is unacceptable. That's just poor positioning. Now they're going to try to get this Earth Shatter down. They do knock down 2. They might be able to restabilize this. Decop does have the grenade on him. That is 3 quick kills for Hammers, so they will restabilize again on this last point. What do you think here about Jake on the Tracer? He's been holding this pulse bomb for almost, I feel like, a little too long, and it's not necessarily a player that we've seen on the Tracer do a lot of damage so far.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like there's a lot of opportunities for him to pick up kills in terms of backside. If he can catch on a Spo or catch on a Cozy, or even try to focus on Casper, which you pointed out as being such an integral part of how Spicy can work with his Roadhog play. He's holding on to for such a long time, but now you're at this point where you might as well just wait for Vol to get his Graviton up to make this big bang combo happen.
Well, there is a Graviton that comes in. It does grab a couple of tanks. No cleanup on the immediate future, but Jake does take down Casper. A giant reactionary Earth Shatter comes down, though. A nano boost onto the opposing Reinhardt, though, as they trade out back and forth. Decop still on the rampage up front. Some bad positioning in the back line here as that Diva's going to go down. Tracer took herself out of the fight, then took herself out of the game as she goes down to Tig, and it is right now Spicy just rolling through desperation time for Hammers.
This could be the game, too, because they have Graviton Switch ready to go. They have a tablet for his focus. He doesn't finish the team, and up to just start going straight down top of Super! He's not going to block on too many, as Six is going to take that one, and that's just going to be it. I don't think Hammer have anyone left except Jake. Just throwing out a pulse bomb just to pick up 1 kill in a Smo. He can do anything about this. This payload should be crossing the line.
It is Jake just trying to buy a little bit more seconds. He does just that. They finish it with 2 minutes and 20 seconds left. And I gotta say, when Hammers has to play reactionary, they look like a different team. When they get to bring the fight to you and play on their terms, they were unstoppable yesterday. But when they started just getting a little uncomfortable, they never let them get their feet under them, never let Hammer control the pacing of that fight and look like a completely different squad. Spicy took it to them.
So I do apologize, by the way, for people in chat who are complaining about my microphone. I definitely need to buy a new one. I do apologize for that. But nonetheless, yeah, that was just really well done by Spicy. Like, we talked about how they're playing a different comp than what Hammer is used to playing against, not going for the triple or quad tank setup. And yet they did switch back to like pretty much the quad tank setup at the end and still were able to control them. Whether that was due to ult management, momentum, you have it. They had the read on Hammer, and Hammer were just too slow to adapt. And
it felt entirely like momentum and pacing. Slasher, What do you think?
I mean, Spicy also outpicked them to start. Running dive comp against single support, with Rob also dying to begin the team fight to start the game. Could not have gone worse for Hammers. Also, kind of questioning what they wanted to do there. I mean, I understand May can be kind of decent here, but we always know that dive comp overrides May anyway, and you're going to put Rob out there alone. And then if you're going to lose first point, it could be so difficult. They finally found their fitting at the very end, but they almost gave up first and second just because they lost first team fight. So Spicy can put up any type of reasonable defense here. They're going to have a pretty good chance of taking first map.
The defense does look like it's coming out rather standard here. The one interesting switch here is that Tig will be playing the Roadhog. Casper will be on the 76, and I like both heroes on it here. I just think Casper has been playing such a good Roadhog. It'll be interesting to see what Tig can bring to it. He's been flexing on all sorts of different tanks. Casper has been their Swiss Army knife, as it were. So a lot of this is going to depend on if they can get anyone up here to deal with the 76. This back corner of Numbani has been the staple of defense for a very long time. Train is going to have his work cut out for him. It's going to be on him to dive that 76.
It's going to be really difficult. I mean, pretty much him against the Ana and the Soldier. Like
you'd like to have a Winston with him, yeah.
Yeah, you don't really have any kill potential there, to be honest, because you're most likely going to get slept, but there's not too much to really deal with it. The Train's been able to at least separate them a little bit here towards the backside. We see Sickness following him immediately here just to protect.
Yeah, they do get up in there, and then they kind of just move Casper too far out of the way. He leaves his Ana alone, and that Ana goes down very early. Train grabs a couple of kills, and this is the defense that never showed up on Numbani. What is going on in this map? I know Numbani used to be really hard to first take on defense. What happened?
I feel like that was mostly just due to Train. Like, yeah, he wasn't really picking up any kills on the Cozy, and he wasn't really doing too much damage, but he was being disruptive, like very disruptive. While the rest of the team would focus down on a couple different targets, and Jake was free to maybe hit a couple of hooks here and there. But I mean, look at Rob; he's already 80% on his mana boost. Like that kind of shows the heal he was doing, but also the damage he was doing during the midst of that fight.
Train did enough to turn that 2v1 into a 1v1 on either side. He separated them too far apart that they could not combine their forces against him, ended up costing Cozy his life there. So now evened up here, both teams at full strength as they work around the front side of this bus here. The aggression of Hammers comes into play as they are just sending everyone as far forward as possible, even as zoning self-destruct all the way up front here. These tanks are just on rampages. They are fearless.
Yeah, they don't have a front line now without that Ryan pick to protect towards the backside, but luckily Captain's on the high ground able to do some decent damage. But the thing is, his teammates are following, Jake hits a hook. What are you going to do in that situation? You just have to give him the point, and just as quickly as we did see Spicy Boys take the second point and eventually the map, Hammer doing it faster. Like,
yeah, they're doing it much faster. This card has not been stopped at all, whereas Hammer did win 2 fights at the very least on their defense. They won 1 before second, 1 before third. And right now, look at these ult percentages, too. They haven't even had to use anything. They used that self-destruct very early on in front of second to zone out, but that's all. They have 5 up to go through. I'd be surprised they don't win this next fight.
I would, but that doesn't make I just feel well, the Bowser is not going to be there in time. We should help the sound here.
Well, Casper taking out Route 420 there was absolutely huge because it meant that there was no bio-nade to go onto that Graviton afterwards. Everyone comes out rather unscathed as Decop and Sickness are in the backlines cleaning up these damaged tanks because Rob had gone down early, so that one hook changed the entire scope of the battle. You think a bio-grenade goes down on that Grav, most people get cleaned up, and then those tanks aren't there to do the damage they were at the end, so the one hook there coming out really changed the scope of that. Right now, both teams kind of equalized up. They had to throw a lot into that, Jason.
Yeah, I mean, we did see the Graviton, we did see the Soundbears out of both teams, but we also did see the response out of Spicy Boys to stay alive as well, so kind of equal trade in terms of that, but we still have a lot of ultimates ready here for the side. Hammer's going to go for the engage.
Well, Super going down early really hurts, and that is again Casper with an opening pick here, and he's got it to start it off. Another huge Earth Shatter, knocks 3 down, but no one is there to clean it up, kind of holding a little bit too far back.
And Jake's off the side, he's not really being disrupted too much, but I think he's been controlled decently well. He hasn't really hit that many throughout the entirety of what we seen yesterday compared to today, yes, but he just hasn't been effective as much. And you have to give credit to, honestly, Decop to kind of rise to the occasion. He's been able to actually control Super better than any tank has been able to do from what we saw yesterday.
Yeah, it was one of the matchups we really wanted to see going into this, as they both made really big kind of debuts yesterday into the wider tournament scene. Right now, I've just been super impressed with Casper. Every opening pick has been on Casper as they look to do battle again. No flanks, nothing cute. Everyone's just going to smash face into each other. A hook does come down onto the Diva. She's going to get out. A big grab comes in. What will be the result of this? A beautiful sound barrier is going to keep everyone mostly healthy. Casper is again the one at the first pick to start off this fight.
And even with the engagement of exactly what we saw Hammers want, the Graviton surge catching 3 or 4 people, Spo just had a sound barrier up yet again. And that's really hard to do, right? To be a Lucio, to get your sound barrier up every single time a Graviton surge has come up, which Vol's been doing a fantastic job of constantly churning through. Not easy to do at all, but honestly really well-timed ultimates and really good usage out of Spo.
I'd say on both sides of the map, Spo has hit those super clutch sound barriers that have kept his team very much in this game. Speaking of sound barriers, you might see an initiation here with a Vaston sound barrier, knowing that they're going to have a huge advantage if they do use it. Another grab comes in right now. Self-destruct's going to go run through this pile, goes all the way through, picks up Rob in the backline though. They lose their main healer. That's going to be rough for them. Jake does take out Spo in turn, but that is a lot of kills for the red side defense. Looks to be able to hold right here.
That's one of the most annoying things about a Graviton Surge, is that you're not technically in the exact same place, and there's a Reinhardt shield that's basically like paper thin. You really can't block everyone on your team when they're directly behind you or in front of you because of the positioning. So unfortunately, yeah, Rob went down from that one. He's been seeming to have a relatively rough game. You still see Hammer, like the cogs are still going in their head, right? They're trying to figure out new ways we can attack the Tiger last time. That Earth Shatter coming through is huge though.
Casper again with the first kill in the fight, and the first kill in the fight has very often been Rob 420. That's why they are struggling so hard to get anything going. Most of the first deaths in all of these team fights have been the Ana, which is absolutely brutal. You cannot have that happen. I don't know if it's positioning for Rob or if it's just Casper being super sneaky, but the last 3 fights in a row, Casper's gotten the absolute first kill on it, and you cannot overvalue how important it is to start off a fight essentially at a 6v5.
Especially when that person going down is the Ana player. Like the amount of healing you can do, the bio grenades, and how crucial it is for the side of Hammer to pick up kills with the anti-healing. But, you know, Robbie's having a rough game, but that Earth Shatter really can't affect too much. They can't do much about that. But Jake picks the kill. Self-destruct does help zone away the rest of Spicy, but that Earthshatter click was huge!
Decop a little over-aggressive there, took himself out of the fight very early, does not get his Earthshatter, and Super gets his own Earthshatter off onto 3. They're going to have some closeout ults if they wanted to. A whole hog into Nano Boost would be great to just lock down one of these doors. I think that's going to be what they're looking for as soon as they see faces come out of spawn.
It's gonna be tough though, like, they have the full hug to push them away, they have the Graviton coming out from open entirely, but they don't have the kills just yet. But Smoke and Slug, really good job by Rob to kind of move away, and then the Graviton surge catching absolutely nothing. The Smoke's not gonna come through as well, could be blocked off, but the fight is still not necessarily going the way of Hammer.
How did Rob die to that self-destruct? There's no good reason for him to die there. They are going to break it down here. Sound barrier on the point so they can try to stall this out. 2 alive. It is Casper and Spo fighting for their lives. There goes Casper. The Earthshatter comes down, does knock down Spo. Spo will get taken into his own spawn. Only 2 alive. The stall is real right now. 50-some seconds left on the clock, but I do believe they will be finishing out this map in short order. There it is. 52 seconds remaining to 2:27 remaining.
And Vol even almost had his grab surge up yet again in that fight. That's honestly ridiculous to see him have that much charge and not really be focused down on. But then again, I mean, there's so many big targets to focus down on the side of Hammer. You got Super, who is actually he's being controlled. I will honestly say that for what we've seen on this third point at least. And then Vol you have to worry about. You also have to worry about Jake a lot, who you give him any sort of freedom, he'll hit these hooks and shut you down. But I don't know, like, I don't want to be too harsh on Rob, because, I mean, you were definitely right. Like, in a lot of those engagements, at the end, he was getting caught first. But at the same time, like, you can't afford to have that happen. But I don't know, it's just, it sounds so negative to harp on him for it. But when you're Ana, like, your job is to just stay alive. And maybe a little bit more safe positioning will help for him.
You can heal from sniper range. I don't know. Like, if it happens once or twice, then I'm like, well, maybe things. But he did die first, like, 3 or 4 times on Numbani. Like, he had a great game yesterday. Just kind of comes with the territory. The thing about Zarya getting so many charges lately, a lot of that is because of the tank meta. I mean, she's got one of the slowest charging ults in the game. They reduced alt charge, but when you have these 500 health hero pools and they're just sitting there taking a breather in front of you, you're gonna get your ults pretty quick. We saw more Gravitons on that final point than I think I've seen in a very long time. That's partly just because of how the meta works right now. Now, okay, so we do have an attack coming in with 1 minute left. Probably the only good attack given how long Numbani goes. And
look at what Spicy Boys are doing. They're doing exactly what a Hammer tried on defense. They got the Mei. I mean, well, not exactly, but they have the Mei. And they even have a Soldier towards the high ground. So the Mei's just going to wall them up just to buy some time. Since, like you said, all they have is a minute.
Yeah, if they win this first fight, they essentially win this defense. That's really all it's going to take for them, because it's Numbani just way too far of a walk. Train, not essentially with as many kills as he got early on, does get one kind of caught out now between 3 people. Train somehow takes down Kasi during that, though. He was totally outnumbered, able to stay alive and get out. This is now a 3v3 getting very scrappy. The Rhino's going to even come in here and reinforce. I have no idea how this one's going to go. Rob goes down, though.
Yeah, I mean, with Rob now down, and with Tig just focusing away from this one, it's actually be a lot of lack of healing, but Vast on the actual payload is just constantly amping up as much as he possibly can. The self-destruct should not catch anyone ideally. Thank God it doesn't this time. And that should not keep Casper staying alive much longer.
They're absolutely going to get this, and I just say, we've given a lot of credit to Super, and we've talked about how good Rob is. Train has put on a clinic on D.Va on this map. It is a spotlight D.Va map for that hero, so good at taking away high ground. He had a really nice day yesterday, too. And I've talked so much about players who play D.Va and D.Va players, and I just get the feeling that Train is a D.Va player.
So right now, Hex, we're running into a slight problem here for the side of Hammer. Tig, he's going to have Blizzard. When that Blizzard's up, you can almost say goodbye to the payload. There's just no real chance he's going to stay alive from this one. They should ideally be pushing up to around this corner.
Unless it gets eaten.
Unless it gets eaten. And he did?
Did it get eaten? It got eaten! Yeah! That's the only thing that could have happened. That means that they cannot take the cart over. Now Super and Train are able to get a couple of kills there. That was the only way that does not close out the map for them. That it's so good here. A great point that Blizzard could have completely shut it down, but it gets eaten in the future vacuum. Jake, Rob are cleaning up now. That is a terrible mistake.
Did you just say you see Train as being like a D.Va player?
Yeah.
I just saw proof right there of why he is. Like you should, I mean, you can technically eat the Blizzard out of Mei, but if you're Tig, like you know you pretty much just won the map if you put that down. You have 2 minutes and 27 seconds, and now there's a very good chance they can take the second checkpoint if somehow Decop cannot block this Earthshatter out of Super.
Super's going to try to go over to the top. Bubble 4 on the ground. That was about as good of coordination you can have as he uses the cart to jump over the top there. They continue to clean up. Casper's going to take down Rob 420 and whatever vendetta he has against him, but it is going to be far too late. That is 4 kills as they continue to trek on into overtime. This started with 1 minute on the clock, Jason, for them to push first.
Avast, you sexy beast. What he did was he sped boost up Super so he could run directly past Decop with the shield and just shattered down. That you can't really defend against that either. That's hard to read into, but now they really have to keep something on. Finally, Jake has gone down, the man up, but then Super just swinging away.
Graviton, there's the nade on Self-Destruct is going to come in. Earthshatter also comes in. They are throwing everything they have defensively at this offense, and look, they are getting the kills for it. That is 3 kills, 4 kills. They will finally stop the cart, but about a mile later than they should have.
Slasher, how sad are you, man? To see that Diva ult, or sorry, the Mei ult eaten, which could have stopped the second point from being taken, and this much distance being accrued.
It's pretty rough. Rough.
Okay, I'll just give us a little bit more there, but I mean, I agree. It's
Well,
definitely a little bit rough.
You know what? Really, this map is defined so far about neither team being able to hold just the first point defense one time. And if either team can do it, including right now, the map will be over. But it is shown that, you know, they can't seem to get it together. I'm actually hoping that they don't run this season.
Which is crazy, because this used to be a map that first point got defended almost more often than any other map. It's because, you know, teams would run even a Torb, or the Mei strategy came in so well. I guess teams are not running up the stairs anymore, but it's been so long since I've really seen Numbani at high-level competitive that I think everyone's just throwing everything they have at each other. But I remember Numbani as being a very defensible first, and I don't know how teams used to do that now. But we do get to see a Torb come out, so they are going all in on this defense. Better.
And they're actually all positioned themselves on the high ground too, so if Casper does jump in with Decop and Cygnus, they're going to be in a world of hurt. I'm actually curious if Tig ran the Mei, specifically knowing they're likely to lose that first point because that Blizzard can be so demanding when it comes to sticking on the offensive side on that payload. But we see Jake going for it again as well, so let's see if he can actually bait in Casper here.
And the walls are really good on this point if you can just find the right angle for him, but the battle's really going to take place up top as the dive comp comes in. Sickness and his Genji go to the back line. That's Dream Dive taking down Jake, so no Mei in effect anymore, but Train and Bull pick up a couple of their own. Still very back and forth as this 5v4 right now. Casper still goes to work, takes down the opposing Torbjorn. That turret's still up though, and Rob 420 avenging his last rough couple of stages as he takes down 2 of his own. This defense should be able to hold for the moment.
I'm sorry, player of the match goes to Avastis turret right now. Like, this thing was doing so much work in the entire that fight. But you see how they position themselves, right? They position themselves in a way that if you're attacking into that, you're going to be in line of sight of that turret. So it's constantly going to be that 7th man or that 6.5 man for your team. So it gives them a little bit of an edge up.
Here's the important thing. He's going to have Molten Core up. Molten Core is very hard to push into regardless, so he's going to try to make sure that it comes up. He's repositioned it too, so they can't come in and focus it before he's able to get Molten Core down. Any chance now he has, he's going to pop that Molten Core. It's going to be very difficult for them to push in. Rather bloodless so far, but now a couple trades come in as Train takes down his counterpart in Sickness. Spo still dancing around the point, but there is no angle for him to dance with a level 3 turret there. Defense still holding strong. Offense has not died necessarily, but yeah, now they're dead. Now they have to back up. Last decent push going to be incoming.
So this is like the big turning point here now for Spicy Boys. They've got the Nano Blade, right? They've got Casper ready to go. They just have to get in position to use this. They switch Cop over to Reinhardt to prepare for maybe a second-hand push once they do get this payload going. If, more importantly, they can capture it, to be honest. But Vol's got the Graviton, and you have Super ready with the Trauma Rage, so it's going to be really hard to kill really anyone on the side of Hammer unless you can focus Rob down immediately, and even killing him is going to be a really big maze you're going to have to run through.
Yeah, just what angle is he going to be able to take? That's way too late! Oh my god, Casper goes down! I believe it was an icicle to Jake long distance. That was all their hopes on that. They're going to have to burn everything anyway. Gravis comes in. Here from the Sound Barrier, Self-Destruct goes down, does not get anything. Jake and Train are cleaning up as Spo is going to get frozen and icicled in the back lines behind the wall. But it does not matter. They are cleaning this up, and with only 5 seconds left, the craziness of Numbani will come to an end. Casper trying to come in with the Nano Blade. Casper hates Rob 420. I don't know what they have history-wise, and it's been killed constantly. He does take him down, but that is not going to be enough, as that will be Numbani finally coming to an end.
Well, it's good to know that a hammer is a little bit better in a fight when it comes to that versus a katana. I just, if you're Casper there, like,
To die to that icicle.
yeah, I mean, obviously you could have this like sick 360 no scope icicle that just completely catches you off guard, but like that was their hopes of the map riding on his shoulders. He had to have got in position to use that Dragon Blade to make sure they use this combo correctly. It didn't work out, and credit to Hammer and Jake in particular to hit those shots. Like, Jake was actually constantly on Casper during those fights on Numbani. He was constantly trying to freeze him up, actually pushing into him to deny him some access or some area, and it worked out for him. And they hold the first or the second time around that they didn't do the first.
All right, we'll see what map they want to go to next. Slasher, any thoughts on Numbani?
The gamble works out, running the Torb. I mean, Rob could have died. He had like maybe 20 health and was able to get 2 picks at the end of the very first fight. If he dies early on, maybe they snowball throughout the entire map. But he was able to pull it together, and with him not dying, even though they did have the nano blade at the end, and it's kind of inexcusable for him to die there from a right-click May, there's no... Not sure if they would have won anyway. They did have 3 ults on the side of Spicy, and it could have gone pretty close. So I think it's opening a solid map. That's what Spicy wanted to do. They want to make it difficult for hammers on these maps that they can't run quad tank. I kind of expect Hollywood to be next.
I think Hollywood's going to be still even, I guess, a little bit rough for what we saw out of the defensive side of Hammer. I definitely think Spicy might be a little bit more comfortable on that map, and who really wants to go to Anubis at this rate? Like, I don't think he wants to.
I mean, if Hammers can get things going on offense, they have their opportunity to win. I mean, they actually did much better than Spicy on their first run through. And Hammers actually had a 5 ult to 1 ult lead going into the final portion of Numbani, and then Spicy was able to stop them with mismanaged ults, which has been kind of sloppy on both sides, I have to admit. But at least Hammers can make it happen on offense. Really, it is going to be more of their defense to win these maps or not.
I'm actually curious what your thoughts, Sasha, are on, I guess, the diversity we saw in Hero Pool out of Hammer finally this time. After what we saw yesterday, pretty much sticking to the exact same comp every single time. Do you think they played like the Torb and the May and the Winston to, a competent level to be crowned as, one of the best teams in North America?
Hammers, right? Not Spicy. Yeah, I mean, I actually think both these teams, but even more Hammers, is going to have some trouble come next patch because they don't necessarily have the star players for DPS that you think of, even though maybe Jake plays DPS and they have experience, of course, considering they're TF2 players, half of them. But they are going to have a little bit more trouble. I think that showed what would happen if they have to go up against Dive Comp, which Dive does so well on Numbani. They kind of fell apart really quickly, and that is probably going to only increase by next patch.
All right, we're going to jump into Hollywood here, which is the choice of Spicy Boys on their second map, and it is a best of 3 in this upper bracket semi-final here, so it is do or die for Spicy Boys on their Hollywood. They will be playing on the offense first, and we'll see what they want to jump out here. I do think that Casper, just so far, he's tried a lot of different heroes, and I just don't know why you wouldn't be running Roadhog the way he's been running Roadhog. And so many times he's been playing around with other heroes, and then he goes back to Roadhog, starts getting kills, but right now, he does want to queue up on the McCree. Not a terrible choice on offense of Hollywood, but still, it's not a Roadhog.
Yeah, it's true. I actually agree. Like, you kind of really need, like, the whole meta right now is about like picks, right? Unless you're doing this dive comp, which isn't even necessarily perk for the meta. It's about these picks, and you need this hog to, not only win the shield battle, but to get these cheeky hooks he's been able to do against Rob just on a body like we saw. So
yeah,
I would hope he's gonna switch back to that in a second. It also gives you a lot of. It sounds really actually bad to say. It gives you high ground control technically with the Roadhog, because of how scary your hook can be, right? And with these 2 lanes you can play from, if you hit one hook, especially if Rob is the one peeking that position to heal, since they don't have a soldier, then you have almost a 1 fight.
Yeah, for now, Hook does give you high ground control. We'll see what the patch brings as far as that happens. But yeah, you can definitely take people off of ledges, and Hollywood's a good map for that too, because you are going to have to deal with ledges on Cafe. There's always going to be someone up there for the most part. In this case, it will probably be Rob on the Ana hanging out in Cafe. So for now, I mean, it does look like he is leaving spawn with this. An offensive Widow, or an offensive McCree rather. We'll see if Casper can get any work done on it, or how long it takes him to switch to the Roadhog.
And there's Super again, just charging straight forward, catches top down, gets about happy to send us a little bit.
Casper finds a way to get the first kill in the fight regardless, able to take on Bull with the McCree, so perhaps we spoke too soon. He is going to get some damage done. They are fighting for high ground right now as D-Cop does come and takes down Super, so that is two large bodies down for the defense right now, and they are pushing all the way in. Super aggressive are the Spicy Boys, getting all the way in. A beautiful sleep guard on Train will de-suit him, and he'd likely take him out. They have all the momentum in the world right now. They're going to eat a bio grenade with this back up. There is no point for them to contest this hammers, and that's about as clean as a first point of Hollywood you can have.
I was really actually surprised to see that Spicy Boys didn't opt for the high ground control, get Casper up there, settled in, then you guys drop and let him fight from that position. But instead, what, Super hits the charge on a decop, but they save the Zarya shield to make sure he's not antied, so they can heal him up immediately, so they actually can't take advantage of the kill. Bull overextends a little bit too far. Train as well was directly in the back line, not really accomplished too much. The refight happens yet again.
Yeah, Jake and Super coming immediately, but they get Earthshatter to counter Earthshatter from Super's hiding in the corner, but he gets Bio Grenade and taken down, able to take down two though, so his damage was already done by the time his life expired. Bull and Jake on the cleanup. They are going to push them all the way back to spawn now, so that's a tale of two Earthshatters. One looks absolutely brilliant, but the one that caught up the person who was in position to do the damage was actually the better one there. Super with the flanking Earthshatter, despite getting debuffed, able to take down a couple there and restabilize that. They're going to back up and give up a little bit of room now though. Casper gets off of McCree, even sacrificing the 100% health that he had on it to move over to that Roadhog now.
I think he actually used it at the tail end of that fight, and I think somehow Super blocked it just in the last millisecond of time. But I think Roadhog is definitely more of the pick he should be going for here, especially when you need to have these picks happen. That's going to be actually a pulled in self-destruction, and it looks like the catch on the two people go down.
That one is not going to be making Casper's highlight reel, I can tell you that much. That hook was out just at the exact same time that she was ejecting for self-destruct, so that is not the troll play that you generally will see on the ladder. A complete accident for Casper, probably making his apologies over the mic, but it did cost two people's life and cost them all the momentum. They will be holding as far forward as humanly possible here, as is the hammer style. They're right outside there. They grab it outside of spawn!
Yeah, that Stomper is going to be used though to actually keep him healthy, and they haven't really able to connect up to the Bio Grenade either, and there's a counter grab.
Both Sounders have been absolutely on point. No other way to say it. He has saved his team time and time again with Clutch Sounders. They do counter grab, but wow, these picks are going back and forth as Vol and Jake take a couple. Tay gets one as well, but they should kind of favor the offense here. They should be able to respawn, maybe grab some momentum. They should try to chase kills if they can. That's what they're going to do. They're going to speed boost in, but now just catching up on the payload. This will give them some free push at the very least.
Yeah, and I'm actually really surprised to see that Decop Earthshatter at the very end there. He only caught on that one, and it wasn't necessarily 100% needed. So a little bit of advantage over to the side of Hammer if he can hit this one correctly. As he again charges straight in. Even Nano hit him right away too. He doesn't have a soldier to put it on. He's not really able to connect on anyone because, well, he's just being kept out of range. Just slightly out of the range.
Super just got nano boosted too, and he was trying to get some work done, but even Spo's using his boop to just knock him back and away. But regardless, now the kills are coming in from Jake and Train, who get a couple. Tig is going to have to back out, maybe get out with his life. He dodges a charge, but cannot dodge the incoming 3 reinforcements. So that defense is going to hold strong for the moment. No switch-ups on either side, as it looks like we have reverted into quad tank versus quad tank. What do you expect in this next fight, Jason?
Just a lot of tanks. Hitting each other.
Thanks, Slash.
Yeah, I know. No, I think Casper, we can see him, he's going on the high ground currently, which gives him the potential to pick up Rob or maybe go for a pass with just slightly out of position, which I think is actually really smart. And if he can hit these drop it directly to someone, the grab comes in.
It grabs 3 for whatever voodoo he's running. Casper does get the first kill in that fight yet again. Ends up picking up Super and Rob for 20 down, so that is 3 down. Counter grab is going to come in, and Sickness is able to grab a couple despite having 3 people in that Graviton. Casper did bust up the Bullhog whilst within that Graviton, able to take out Rain as well, so they clean up everyone there. And I gotta say, one of the biggest bright spots for this team, most consistent spots for this team, has been Sickness. He's just finding angles and getting magic done with his self-destructs, regardless of where he's putting them.
Yeah, especially with really prone on this part of the map as well to hit relatively easy self-destructs. He's been, again, able to capture up Rob multiple times, even full in one of those last ones. And now we're just going to see, it looks like Spice just cleaned up a couple of exit triangles. We do see Hammer trying to run away. But that grab surge, I don't know, that was a little bit questionable because it was just full, and I think a Vast alive that was full and trained. And what are you going to do with 2 people against 4 or 5 with just a grab and no real damage to follow up with?
I mean, at this point, I'm starting to treat grab like it's pulse bomb. Like, it doesn't even matter if you waste it anymore. Like, that's how fast people are getting it. Sickness is going to dive in really deep in the back line. Both teams at full strength right now. The Earthshitter does not get much. Only knocks Jake down. Now the cleanup there. Decop is going to be able to get boosted. Trying to get in right now. Casper is able to take down his counterpart, and Jake Sickness takes down Super. So all the kills going inside. A giant hammer swing from Decop adds the sum up to 5 kills as they continue this push. Didn't even have to burn a whole lot, too. They're on their way to having 4 tank ultimates. Only Super Jake stand in their way, maybe tranking it a self-destruct, but it's really been Sickness who's been the master of those this game. Last fighting.
And Decop will come Earthshatter back again for that last fight as well. The grab just going to catch one of the Bastards. I think Asper's going to be able to find the Capsule's off. Self-destruct comes down off the end. Leaks will zone away from the payload. There's the counter self-destruct out of Sickness. This time it's not going to do anything out of Trade Star. But just stop the fight out of both teams. A lot of ultimates being committed, but not a lot of results.
Jake's able to show up there, is able to finally get a couple of kills. Everyone threw everything they had at it for the most part. The next offensive push will very likely feature an Earthshatter. Can Decop land that one? But we've seen, you know, some sound barriers coming clutch, mostly on the side of Spo, but maybe Avast will be up there as well. Right now, about 90 seconds left for them to finish this push. That Earthshatter does knock down Jake, but they're in no position to clean that up. Decop's going to charge it anyway. Eats a bio grenade right away, trades his life for Rob's 420. I think that's a trade you might want to take. However, pretty even as Casper's going in. The huge sound barrier comes off. Can they sustain through this right now? Bull and Train combined for a couple. It does look like they should be able to keep pushing this through. Yeah.
I don't even... Like, that fight was so weird. Like, Decop, yeah, it's going to hit a charge on a Rob, but you're bio-graded and you're completely away from the rest of your team. So, like, that's not a position you ever want to be in when you're going to need that Reinhardt shield. I mean, not only a shield, but the threat of what Reinhardt can put out with his hammer, obviously. And now Jake's super ready to chime in drill, so he's going to create himself ready to go, and they're going to push directly into and try to stagger spawns yet again. There's 30 seconds remaining, so maybe one good attack left in Spicy.
I actually really love this, though, from Hammers, is that they're playing right into their style. They could have sat back, and it was a lot easier. You do need a pause, apparently, but they could have sat back, right? Eventually, when you lose all of this ground on Hollywood, sometimes sitting back all the way onto your last, right outside the studio, is the best option, right? It's a really nice defender's advantage, but that's not Hammer's style. They had a fight advantage, they took it to them, and then they just ended up right outside of their spawn, so they know they're playing their best when they're just going absolutely aggro on them. They continue to do it, and yeah, it's really smart.
They also kind of delayed any sort of siege that we were going to have leading up to this once the team had reassembled. So you delay a lot of like old percent generation potentially. Like Tig, he's really close to his graviton. He's at 76% Sickness as well, which I mean he'll have it up in the fight nonetheless. But Decop, that's like 1 or 2 fire strikes they're not going to have. So I think in the long run they're trying to just have that advantage when it comes to these big ultimates in this last fight. Obviously overtime here can last. Well, how long can the game last? Probably forever if you potentially do it right. Like overtimes on this map we've seen last forever.
Yeah.
But I mean, all it takes is one good Earthshatter out of Super to shut this down.
It's going to be really tough for this offense. I mean, maybe Casper. I mean, Whole Hog is still a good ult. They are getting there. They could actually run a couple of these together now that I look at it. You know, Spo's sound barriers have been great defensively. They're going to have to use one to initiate. That's going to be a huge advantage because Avast is so far away from his. You're going to see dueling Whole Hogs. I mean, those can be impactful. They're not the most impactful of tank ultimates, though, too. Really, I'm looking at Super. Super's been a carry for this team, this Hammers Esports team. And he's going to have to hammer down. See if they can get something going on their defense, but it should be an even fight for their very last push, but I don't know. I'm actually not certain how this one's going to shake out.
I wonder if Super's going to play this one a little bit sneaky, maybe try to sit off to the side, you know, to look for that cheeky Earthshatter from behind or to the side, or maybe look for Jake to get in a position to hook Decop away so you have a clean Earthshatter. There's like a lot of different opportunities, especially with this pause happening. It gives you the time as a team to like sit down and be like, is there anything sneaky we want to try to pull off? We know we have the time to set something up like this And that just only forces the attacking team here for Spicy Boys to have to check like so many different angles to actually be confident to be able to push in.
Yeah, a lot of the whole hog could come into play with these Reinhardts that are going to be dueling, looking for the either Earthshatter from Super too. If you can break the shield or even just knock down the Reinhardt or push him away from it to open things up for Super's Earthshatter, that could be a game ender too. I mean, Sickness, I actually really want to see what he can do. I've seen a lot of like even really good divas on this section of the map just totally bork their self-destruct, like landed on that ledge on accident or put it behind the trailer. There's a lot of ways for it to go really, really wrong. We'll see what actually happens as we start to unpause this game.
Yeah, it looks like Jake was just having some mouse issues, so just swapped one of his other ones in. Good to have multiple around your place. But here we go, 20 seconds remaining here. Spicy Boys trying to finish off here on Hollywood. See if they can pull it off.
So, like you said, about 15 seconds left. Actually, plenty of time to get to the cart. Here comes that self-destruct. Defensively, Train's able to take down Casper. That is one of the ultimates that he really wanted to work with. Now gone. The sound barrier is dissipating as Decup takes down Super. So Super did use his Earthshatter, not to great effect though right now. Now the brawl is on the cart, and it's Sickness picking up 3D as the X Factor in this fight. They grab a ton of fast and Train towards the end. Can they clean up those kills? It looks like they should be able to. Train doing a great job though, just keeping his body on the cart to prevent that coming out. So now they should be able to reinforce and at least stall. Not an ideal situation, but a situation they could maybe do something from. It is going to be rough though. It's Anna's going to get this attack on Super getting out here onto it. Not enough. They're all behind the shield.
And the Graviton there, I mean, it helps, but you don't really have the back of the finish anyone off here, and Super's just trying to delay as well. Switch over to the May, even a Bastion coming out of Train, and I have to wonder what was Train doing with that Diva. He got caught so far out of position that he forced the rest of Hammer to rush to him immediately and throw out ultimates just to save his life.
Yeah, it was
0-3.
Conversely, Cygnus's Diva was really strong there, added another couple kills. He's been sneaky good on it because there's been so many other big players on his team doing a lot, but Cygnus has really kind of been one of the backbones of the team. He's rarely dying, he's rarely out of position as Diva, and he's always applying pressure. I've been impressed with actually both of these Diva players. All right.
Really wonder, like, Slasher, did you maybe see a little bit more than what I could see on my screen when we were paused of why Train was there?
I mean, Train got the opening pick with his ult, so he made it a 6-on-5, but his positioning after, maybe they felt a little bit too comfortable, too aggressive, then he goes out of position, forces his team to try to save him, and then things go down from there. He actually he takes Cozy down to about 10 health, and then he comes in and heals his own team, then he dies, and then it falls apart. So maybe if he takes down Spicy's Anna there, the things turn out differently, but because he stays alive with so little health, it was probably the worst possible thing that could have happened.
They are able to complete the entire map. That is 3 points, so if any time along the way they get stopped out, that will of course be the map for Spicy Boys, and we will go to a map 3. So it is up to the Hammers esports squad to be able to get to the final here, and we'll see how that goes. I really want to see something a little different coming out. There used to be a time, JCap, where everyone ran Hanzo offensively here, and now they're just teasing us.
I miss the Hanzo Roadhog. It's like you can't miss that combo. You just can't miss that combo at all. I would love to see it.
Teams still run it. Just not this team.
Okay.
Yeah, I think he does quite a bit.
To run it.
Maybe Train bringing it back. No, Train moves over to the Diva, wants all that 400 armor on here too. So we do have a mirror match, it would seem. Yeah, both teams running quad tanks. Ana Lucio here, so a lot of it's going to be shield battle and positioning starting it off. No sneaky kind of corner play from Decop to look for their set pieces, and here it is right away, just swinging in. Here comes the aggression of Hammers Esports, but whatever voodoo he has subscribed to, Dream Casper gets the first kill again in this fight. Sickness and Decop clean up the remainder of that. That push is all but over.
Yeah, Casper actually sat on the high ground. He sat on the staircase where he couldn't be spotted. When they started pushing in, he just peeked over. Hey, Avast, what's up? You're dead. Honestly, really done by him. Takes with the speed, takes with the healing, and the rest of the team just capitalized and collapsed on the remaining 5 people. So really well,
nice.
really well done.
Really nice that Decop was the one to clean up those kills, because look how far ahead he is at Earthshatter right now. So he's going to have Earthshatter in another couple hammer swings here, while Super is still very far behind. They're going to go super aggro yet again, running in. Everyone's getting bubbled up. Train takes the high ground away on the Cafe immediately, still bloodless, although Super takes down his opposing number in Decop there to start this off. A giant hook from Jake gets nullified by Dreamcasper's hook. Dreamcasper is taken down by Train. It is back and forth a brawl right now, but so far it looks like Hammers is getting a little bit of the better of this as the Nano Boost comes down. A late Nano Boost onto Zarya, though. This could switch it around, Jason.
Yeah, I think he's been able to do some decent work. You're not touching skull again. How does this man always have his sound barrier ready to go, but that self-destruction's on them away just a little bit of time? The point is finally being captured here, and it seems like we're starting to run out of men here for Spicy.
Well, they do get the Earthshatter as they come through the doorway, but everyone gives up their life trying to funnel in through here. Decop and Tig already down despite that Earthshatter going down, so Decop might want that one back. It does do a little bit to delay, but at this point, you're just feeding percentages. That is it. First point is capped. First point is done, and the ult advantage will firmly be in favor of this Hammers team as they move forward.
And that all started with just Decop getting a little bit aggressive. He went for the charge, missed it, and then Super just turned around and immediately charged him into the hallway where he had no backup, and, well, he got bursted down. Lost the frontline tank, and there's not much more you can do after that.
Do you think that?
There.
Do you think that opposing Reinhardts are playing out of their comfort zone when they're playing against Super? Because now he's not as aggressive as he was yesterday. He still is aggro, but I feel like other Reinhardts are playing not their own style against him.
Yeah, I would actually, somehow turns around last split second, blocks it out, and that's it. It's gonna go down. But yeah, no, we saw that with Spencer, like you pointed out. Like, I feel like Super is getting so much freedom with the Zarya shields, with the amount of babysitting he's getting out of Rob.
Yeah.
That forces the other Reinhardt player to get a little bit frustrated and want to be able to punish him in this situation. So he's not seen anyone actually be able to do that. And then go for an aggressive charge. You don't go. And then Decop gets out of position. They take advantage.
They only had to use a couple of ults there on the second phase. They are going to have some big ones up. That is going to be Super, who's going to get this Nano Boost onto it. He's looking for a big Earthshatter. He might just hold on to it, though, as he starts it off, taking out his opposing number. No need to hold on to it now with those shields down. Tig is going to go down. Dreamcast is going to go down. Super is going to swing that golden hammers. The mascot of Hammers Esports, Super, taking down several of them. 450 here to finish out this map. A lot of time to work with. They've got to feel pretty comfortable right now. They even get him from split spots.
Well, I mean, to at least give some credit to Spicy Boys, though. We did have like 4.5 minutes on the Numbani as well, going into that final push. They managed to take away a good amount of time, so there's always a chance they can do it here, but you definitely say Hammer like a lot cleaner coming into that second phase. And again, like you give Super Nano Boost, you babysit him, and he just swings to the whole team. It's still really hard with that damage reduction to take down that Reinhardt.
This should be a time where they're considering a junk rush, but they're just going to be super aggro as they always are, trying to bait out some ultimates. They do bait out the Nano Boost, and he gets a beautiful charge onto Decop all the way back. Super will go down for it, but he took him completely out of the fight while his team was cleaning up. Sickness still trying to do what he can in the back line, but he is 1v3 and he is bionated. Not long for this world, or at least his mech. He will be cleaned up off of the cart in short order afterwards, as well as they continue to push forward, and that's about as much as they could have asked for out of that fight. They won the fight and baited out more ults.
Yeah, but Tig, you switched off Zarya. He switched over to main now, so they're trying to go for a little bit of stall text here. But Volk, he has his Graviton ready to go. Super's gonna have his Earth Shatter. Even Rob is about to have his Nano Boost. Trains the self-destruct. They have every single piece of this puzzle they need to close this game out.
It would be absolutely stunning if Hammers does not take this, but that is Super going down on the ground, saved by a really clutch Nano. The Graviton's going to come in the back lines, though. They kept Super alive. Can he hit this Earth Shatter to make it worthwhile? He does drop two. He's going to get the back line too. The supports are both in deep, deep trouble. So both supports are down in the back line. Only Sickness trying to keep his team alive. He's going to self-destruct just for the heck of it. That shield is up. That cart is moving. They should be able to close this out. Only Cozy. Cozy's going to
Jesus, 3 minutes and 8 seconds left too, and that's with Vol going down immediately in that fight, and only Gravitoning one single person. Really smart play out of Super to, you know, when he hits your share, to focus Tig, kill that Mei first so you can't stall any longer, and then actually dodge away from a couple different sleep darts there to stay alive and to constantly be that threat. That was, whew, that's tough to beat. Like, I don't know if they can defend that first point for 3 minutes to hold on to this map and the match.
No, that seems difficult. They're just really putting it down the back of Super. There were so many times where he was low or in a tough spot, and all of a sudden he just gets nano boosted. Not because they want to aggress, but they just want to keep him alive. The last time they did it, I was on that final push there. They kept him alive, and then he killed the two supports in the back line, because the hammer is like a giant AoE attack. It's hard to get away from. Did so much damage there, but yeah, this clock is pretty in favor of Hammers Esports right now, and I don't think they're going to surprise anyone by how they're going to play. They're going to send Super into your face, and then you better just have an answer for it. What do you do against this, Jason? Theory craft.
What do you do against this? I don't. You need something to deal with Super, and/or you need something to deal with his back line. Like, he's just getting supported way too much. He's just getting babysat in a way that you're not able to take him down if you fight him head-to-head, and you need to switch something up. The problem is, with them defending, you can't really run like a dive comp on defense, so it's going to have to coming down, I think, almost Casper to hit some of these hooks.
What do you think of like an early May? Was the teams used to do that against NIP to try to shut them off? That the moment you saw Fraggy, you just put a wall between him and whoever you can, and just like to try to deal with that.
It's always a viable option. Actually, now that I think about it, now you bring it up, I'm surprised to see teams not really do that, just to separate Super because of how aggressive we know he likes to play. But they're going instead for the Symmetra, I suppose. So they're running a single healer, and they really have to hope they don't get hooked.
Well, they have to win this first fight at the very least. If they lose this first fight, it is all but over because Symmetra's not going to be able to get the teleporter up or the shield barrier up, whichever one they so choose. Bloodless so far, but Train goes down to Kazi. That is a really nice first pick for him. Spo really hurt in the backlines, but everyone kind of retreating to this cafe, knowing where their fallback point is. Everyone's going to get healed up. This first push seems like it is just about over. That is another kill onto Avaz. Jake has to try to not get staggered. A nice bubble will keep him alive. They do get out with 4, but that's a really, really important first hold, even though Spo's only at 60%.
And actually really a good adoption as well out of Spicy Waves, because Sickness, he sat on the backhand side of the point because Jake went around for the flank. And with him just kind of body blocking, not allowing Jake to hit these hooks on the supports, on those crucial squishy targets, he allowed him to have that kind of a little bit of an edge, a little bit of a heading coming into that fight. Now Decop's being animated so super, but neither letting charges. And now Decop being stuck in the back, he's being focused on by Spooky.
Super lands his Earth Shatter, though. The Bio Grenade's going to go down onto Casper. Casper does not go out quietly into the night as he takes Super down with him. Now the teleporter is up. Are they going to be able to reinforce here? They are coming through. It's a pretty decent spot for the tele. They have to come in. They're going to charge it over the top. They are getting bodies, and his self-destruct should zone people out a little bit. This will buy time. Sickness works his magic, grabs one. They are now having bodies on the point. This fight is now turning back in favor of the defense.
Oh, the grab didn't stop Decop actually getting through and getting the Earth Shatter down, not to Sickness. And somehow Decop takes on Super in the head-to-head charge, even with the whole hog being used out of Casper, and they're going to do it. They're going to maintain this. But now they have a minute left to defend. One more tick, one more piece of this pie on the checkpoint, and somehow, I was going to say, they're still being super aggressive for your hammer, not really a man advantage. They're still trying to fight them out.
Yeah, really nice heals. That is a beautiful sound barrier. That might seal it as the Graviton's going to come in off the back of this Nano as well. Take is the only one caught up in it. Spo is going to try to do his best. Symmetra got buffed, but I don't know if she got that buffed. Only one charge was on that teleporter. That's Decop coming in. He gets boosted. He is just trying to do his best. Boosted, trying to come in. It is all or nothing here. Casper comes in, but that is going to be it. That's a take for Hammers Esports, and they're fun to watch. Bottom line, they're a fun team to watch. I don't think they'd be fun to play against, but fun to watch.
Oh, Jake, even at the end, see you in the grand final. So he has confidence that Spicy's going to make their way through into the grand finals out of the loser bracket. That's saying a lot.
Yes, I mean, they looked good. Slasher, what'd you see that we didn't see?
I think actually Symmetra was the right option to go against four tanks. Actually pretty good. Really only have to worry about Diva trying to get the shield gen. They were able to get the TP down and put themselves in position to actually tie that map. But Train and Bull staying alive in like a 2-on-2 situation. Again, not able to get those kills onto the point to secure them that victory. I think really the main thing is, for me, before this map, I said that, you know, if Hammers gets rolling on offense, they could just take it all the way. And besides a little bit of a blip at the end on Hollywood there, they did that. And their main issue is still going to be defense. Both teams had problems on first point defense. None of them really were able to put up that much of a fight there. It always came down to either the middle of the second point or the very end, where teams finally got things together. Some misplaced ults on both sides. Some questionable Reinhardt play also coming out from Spicy. I do think the Super over Decop matchup was a big part of why Hammers won there. Hammers, I definitely think, is going to have a harder time in the winners bracket finals than they did here in the semis.
Well, just a quick bracket update, and then we'll get set up for our next game here. FaZe is going to be awaiting Spicy in the lower bracket. Rise Nation has already rolled through. They're waiting for the winner of that. So Rise Nation will be on stream again sometime today as they've gotten through their lower brackets. Liquid took down Denial 2-1. Then Rise Nation took down Liquid 2-0. So Liquid's out, Denial's out, Splice is out. FaZe will face Spicy off stream. That will be the last match off stream. But up next, we have a big one. It is going to be Hammers versus LG, and a treat for our viewers. It is going to be Mitch, Ubershouts, and JCap together again as we take a break and just listen to our friends from ESL. It's going to be so awesome. So make sure you stick around for that. We are going to head into a short break while we set up that next match. We'll be right back with the Alienware Monthly Melee.